Equity General Secretary Elections 2025. To be or not to be Paul W. Fleming, Ricky Ash. Respect to both candidates equally and fairly.
Nigel Cecil, calling things out.
Hello, Jacobutties, welcome. Thank you for joining me, moi, Nigel Cecil, ably assisted, as I invariably am, by my very good friend Hilary. And Hilary, particularly at this moment, is asking moi to remind you all that when I claim to be an entertainment entrepreneur, it's because, well, it's somewhat of a legend. In my own lunchtime, we've been particularly careful to say that whenever you watch these videos, we endeavour to respond to our fair-minded and equitable friends, our regular viewers, some who are simply interested in showbiz, others who are engaged in showbiz, and some who are members of Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety, entertainers, the creatives across the United Kingdom. When you watch these videos, as we endeavour to respond to your comments, views and observations sent in to us, please be aware that Hilary and moi try our best to get our facts correct and also, equally and fairly, express our opinion in the hope that it might stimulate some discussion. But of course, we're not going to say we are always correct. So if you hear something, see something that you think, well, I've got a different opinion, please get in touch with us via our email address, and we'll endeavour to put your views forward just as equally as we've done for any other consideration. Why are we being careful? Because we've now entered a period for equity members when it's been announced there is a ballot for the General Secretary, their term of office from 2025 to 2030. Now, previous videos recently, some of you have said, Nigel, have you thought that the Equity General Secretary election has a timetable that now has an inbuilt coronation? And you brought some other interesting facts to our attention to consider, and it's taken some time to research them, but we hope to be doing them over the next few videos, because it has been announced by Equity that there will be an election for the new General Secretary. No longer to be or not to be, it will be. There will be a ballot. So, from the 20th of March onwards, all Equity members should be receiving their voting papers. It is a postal vote by law. So you may be tempted to respond straight away. We would urge you to pause a little while to reflect, to see what information comes out. You have until May the 8th or 9th, somewhere around that time, to vote, so there's a long time. And remember, it is a postal ballot. So we come to the first thing we have to comment on, because we mentioned this equity coronation. And also, in this respect, it is respect. Equity, respect. Because our previous video about a banter ban highlighted the fact that workers all deserve respect. And when push comes to shove, whilst the General Secretary may well be the Chief Executive Officer of Equity, they are a worker, albeit on a 5-year contract. They are a worker, a trade union engaging them. Surely they deserve equal respect as any other worker. You'd say, hang on a minute, what are you talking about? Well, just think about it. The Equity Council agreed the draft timetable, and we don't think it's changed, way back in June 2024. At that time, they also nominated Paul W. Fleming, the current General Secretary, as their candidate. It's true to say when you look back over the history of equity, the person nominated by the council has always been elected when there's been an election. So would the council say, well, we've nominated Paul, Paul's going to be elected, so let's have it acclaimed at the annual conference being held in Londonderry, the city of Derry, Northern Ireland, in May. We think it's on the 10th of May, is it, Hilary? But there we go, it's timetabled in. But what about respect, equally and fairly, for all workers? A coronation, if you want to call it that, was planned presumably on the basis, well, Paul Fleming is bound to be elected. But given the fact that Paul gained last time round in 2020 16%, there was only 16% of the membership voted, and they gained 69% of that 16%. So when you think about Ricky Ash, an equity member, and that nowadays social media, mainstream media, well, they're at you, aren't they? In your face. And it only takes something to start the ball rolling, to start trending, to maybe get a result you weren't expecting. Maybe, against all the odds, as the Equity Council may well say, maybe Ricky Ash will get elected. But either way, they are both, when it comes to being imposed on that 5-year contract, workers. They are working for a trade union, and surely every trade union should give equal respect to everyone. So consider, Paul Fleming arrives at the annual conference to be told, Paul, you've not been elected. Ricky Ash has been elected. Now, I'm sorry, whatever you may or may not think of Paul Fleming, they have given their determination, their devotion to equity over many years. You may approve, you may not approve, show that in your vote. But to actually have Paul Fleming in a situation where they may turn up at the annual conference to be told, well, they've already arrived as General Secretary, to be told, Paul, you're no longer General Secretary. Goodbye. What? And what about Ricky Ash? Is Ricky Ash going to be at the annual conference? Because I'm not sure there's any plans to invite them. But what happens if they're elected? They get there at their own expense. Respect equally and fairly. It's not like a party political election where all the candidates line up and one says, well done you, well done you. No, this is an election for the Chief Executive of Equity, your General Secretary, Equity members, who is a worker. And all workers deserve equal respect. And the idea that back in June 2024, it was decided to bring the election forward from its usual month of July, where the information just permeated out, to now be, well, acclaimed at the annual conference, seems to us, doesn't it, Hilary, something that is not respectful to all workers, equally and fairly. Not only now, but in the future. Equity, respect. What do you think? Good art, good work. In showbiz, keep your fingers crossed. Professional solidarity, comrades.